The blizzard had been roaring across Pine Ridge Mountain for 3 straight days, sealing every dirt road, burying every fence post, and turning the world outside my cabin into a white, endless desert. I'd lived here long enough to know storms like this didn't come to play, they came to test you. And tonight, the storm was winning. I'd just thrown another log into the wood stove when something slammed against my front door. Not lightly, hard, violent enough to shake loose a line of snow from the roof. A cougar, a fallen branch. I reached for the rifle leaning against the wall, cracked the door open, and froze. Because standing there, shivering, snow-coated from head to toe, eyes wild with fear, was a girl. Well, not really a girl. A woman, maybe 22, maybe 23. Wearing city clothes that had no business being on a mountain, thin coat, torn jeans, sneakers soaked through. Her knuckles were bleeding like she'd punched through thick ice. Before I could speak, she collapsed right into my arms. I carried her inside, laid her down on the couch near the wood stove, and covered her with 2 thick blankets. She kept whispering the same word, barely audible. "Don't let them find me." Them. My jaw tightened. She was running from someone. When she finally opened her eyes, the firelight catching on her lashes, she jerked back like she expected me to hurt her. "Easy," I said. "You're safe here." Her voice cracked. I'm sorry. I didn't know where else to run." "Who are you running from?" She swallowed hard. "My stepfather's men." That got my full attention. She told me her name was Lena, and she'd been trapped her whole life under a man rich enough to buy silence and cruel enough to demand obedience. Tonight, she'd escaped after he tried to force her into a marriage she never agreed to. I ran toward the mountains because I thought, no one would think to look for me here. I exhaled a slow breath. "You picked one hell of a storm to run into." "I didn't pick anything," she whispered. "I just ran." I made her tea, patched her knuckles, and tried convincing her she needed rest. She looked exhausted, terrified, and honestly, small in my giant flannel shirt I'd given her to warm up. "You can take the bed," I said. "I'll sleep out here." She hesitated. "Do you lock your doors at night?" "Always." "Good," she whispered, like the idea of a locked door was the closest thing she'd ever had to hope. I walked her to the bedroom, turned on the lamp, and left her to rest. At least, I thought I did. Hours later, after I fell asleep on the couch, something warm pressed against my side. A slow inhale, a soft brush of hair on my arm. I opened my eyes. She was curled up beside me, barefoot, wrapped in my blanket, sleeping like it was the most natural thing in the world, like the couch, the cabin, the entire space belonged to her. I didn't move. I didn't even breathe. She looked peaceful for the first time since she'd arrived. So fragile and exhausted that waking her felt like waking someone who hadn't slept in years. I just watched her, fighting a stupid smile. She'd broken into my cabin, collapsed at my door, and now she'd claimed the space beside me like it was hers. And against every ounce of logic, I let her stay. When sunlight finally pushed through the frosted windows, she woke up to find me watching her. She startled, sitting up fast. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to." "Relax," I said, raising a hand. "You were scared. You slept where you felt safe." Her cheeks reddened. "I didn't know I'd actually climb onto you." I chuckled. "Happens more often than you'd think." "It does." She blinked. "No," I admitted. "You're the first." Her lips curved into the tiniest smile. The kind that hit harder than any full one. But the moment didn't last. Because I heard it. Engines. 3 of them, growling up the main trail. Her face turned pale instantly. It's them. I stood. Get behind me. A fist pounded on my cabin door. Open up. A voice yelled. We're looking for someone. I didn't open it. Instead, I shouted through the door, nobody here but me. We have reason to believe she came this way. Well, you're wrong. A long pause. Then the voice turned sharp. If you're hiding her, that makes you a suspect. I finally unlatched the lock, opened the door just enough to stare the man down. He wore a sleek black jacket, city boots, sunglasses that didn't belong in the mountains, exactly what I expected from hired muscle. I repeated, she's not here. The man leaned forward. If you see a girl fleeing her father's house, you call us. She belongs home. Behind me, Lena stiffened. I didn't turn around, didn't reveal she was there. She doesn't belong to anyone, I growled. We'll search the area, the man snapped. If we find out you lied. You won't, I said, and shut the door in his face. She looked shaken, terrified, but also grateful. You didn't have to do that for me, she whispered. Yes, I did. Her eyes glistened. You don't even know me. You showed up half frozen, bleeding, scared out of your mind. I don't need to know anything else. Something changed in her expression then, something soft, something trusting. Something dangerous for a man who'd been living alone for 5 years. We can't stay here, I said. They'll circle back. Where will we go? There was only one answer. To the old ranger outpost. It's hidden. They'll never find it. But it's miles away, she whispered. In this storm. I grabbed my parka. Stick with me. I know these mountains better than any man alive. She breathed out, nervous but determined. Then take me with you. It took us an hour to fight through the snow. I kept her hand in mine the whole way, guiding her around drifts, checking every few minutes that she wasn't freezing. When we finally reached the old ranger cabin, a place I hadn't stepped into since I worked search and rescue, it was exactly as I remembered, dusty, cold, forgotten. But safe. I built a fire, hung her coat near the stove, and handed her a cup of steaming cocoa. She sipped it slowly. I don't know why you're helping me, but thank you. I'm helping, I said, because you deserved help long before you reached my door. Her lashes lowered. I feel safe with you. I don't know why. I swallowed hard. Maybe because I'd freeze before I ever let them take you. She stared at me like she was memorizing that promise. And then, quietly, softly, she leaned her head on my shoulder. Can I stay here? She whispered, voice trembling. Just until I figure out a life that's actually mine. I wrapped my arm around her. As long as you need. That night, she didn't curl up on the couch. She didn't even hesitate. She climbed right into my arms like she had the night before, this time awake, this time fully aware, and rested her head on my chest. I know I broke into your life the way I broke into your cabin, she whispered. But I don't want to run anymore. You're not running, I told her. You're starting over. She smiled against my shirt. Can I start over, with you? I kissed the top of her head. I was hoping you'd ask. Outside, the storm was fading. Inside, a new life was beginning. And for the first time in years, the cabin didn't feel like a place built for one heart. It felt like home, because she was in it.